Hello and welcome to an FA Cup special of Her Beautiful Game, a channel about women's football. Usually in this series each week we will delve into the fixtures of the FA Women's Super League, but today we will take a look at the highlights from the FA Cup instead. But as always, if you're looking for a way to find all your female football facts, then this is the place to be. I'm Dana Richmond, your host for the show, guiding you through your weekly dose of footy fun. Her Beautiful Game will air at the end of every week to give you that little pick-me-up and reminder of the fixtures last week for the fixtures ahead. So what's been happening in the footballing world recently? Well, there has been outrage on social media after Alex Scott was interrupted during her analysis on Super Sunday by Graham Souness. Don't worry, Alex, I think he was just trying to get a word in around your 9 league titles and your 7 FA Cups. It's hard to hear over those. And England will play 4 friendlies in the run-up to the World Cup this year. They will play against Canada, Denmark, Spain and New Zealand. And with that out the way, it's time for some FA Cup magic. Due to Britain's inability to cope with any form of abnormal weather, many of Sunday's games were called off. Not that I'm complaining, because I know what it feels like to be in a very cold, snowy icebox. The games that have been postponed include Durham v Cardiff City, Loughborough Foxes v Sheffield United, Charlton Athletic v Huddersfield Town, Stoke City v Aston Villa, Millwall v Lewes, Reading v Keynsham Town, Liverpool v MK Dons and Yeovil Town v Birmingham City. All games have been moved to this Sunday. But 7 games did continue, so let's talk about those. Let's start with a side that seemed to have settled very well into their first campaign in the Championship, against a side that are hovering in the lower end of the WSL. Manchester United travelled to Brighton to compete in the 4th round of the FA Cup. United shocked the WSL side when 17-year-old Lauren James scored 2 goals against the Seasiders. The first when Jess Sixworth pulled the ball back to James at the edge of the box to power a right-footed shot into the right of the goal. United conceded a penalty when Amy Turner brought down Kaylee Green in the box. Brighton's captain stood up to take the pen, but she was denied any chance of scoring by Chamberlain's diving save, which parried the ball around the bar for a corner. James's last goal ended the game with a terrific effort to show her strength against the Brighton defence. She charged into the box and slotted the ball into the far post. Division 1 side Crawley Ross took on one of the best teams in the country as they host Arsenal Ladies in the FA Cup. The Wasps had a challenge on their hands that they rose to well, but couldn't compete with a WSL title racer. The scoring opened up when captain Kim Little scored in the 17th minute. Calm as always, Little places the ball past the goalkeeper to take the lead. Crawley battled well against the top tier side, but a certain Arsenal player stole the show. 16-year-old Ruby Grant bags a goal when she fires an absolute rocket into the top left-hand corner from the edge of the box. She continued to impress when she bagged a second goal after a through ball to the 6-yard box meant Grant could drive the ball into the bottom left-hand corner. The third and final goal came after Via again showed some great individual skill to place the ball in the box for Grant to hit first time with her left foot. 4-0 to Arsenal and a hat-trick for Ruby Grant. West Ham United took on Blackburn Ladies. Natasha Flint gave Rovers an early lead and her 30th goal of the season. West Ham struck back when Lyon scored just before the break to level the game. The Hammers weren't finished there when Brianna Fisali loops the ball over the keeper to give West Ham the lead. And it wasn't long after when Lyon grabbed a second of the game with a tap-in from Fisali's cross. Bristol City travelled to London to take on Wimbledon Ladies. City were on a roll after their 2 recent wins in the WSL. Fresh in red and white strip, Abby Harrison took no time to make an impression in the FA Cup when less than a minute in she boosted a left-footed shot into the bottom corner. Robinson brought City their second goal of the game when Pattinson found her at the far post for the midfielder to boot the ball into the net. It was all attack for Bristol, who had chance after chance, including almost a second goal by Harrison, who curled a left-footed shot from the edge of the box, only for it to head wide. The final goal came before the first half was even over, when Poppy Wilson powered past the Wimbledon defence to place the ball into the far corner. A championship clash between bottom and top of the table when Palace hosted Tottenham in the fourth round. It took almost the whole of the first half to break the deadlock, but that finally happened when Dean's shot was parried back into play for Naz to bury the ball into the net on the rebound. It seemed that would be the only goal of the game in the first half, but 3 minutes into stoppage time and Spurs had another. Neville drives into the box to shoot into the bottom right-hand corner of the goal. The second half begins, and just 10 minutes in, Tottenham expanded their lead from a set piece by Leon. The indirect free kick landed to Haynes to add her name to the score sheet too. Tottenham Hotspurs are now heading into the fifth round of the FA Cup. It took over an hour to break the deadlock between WSL sides Everton and Chelsea. It wasn't until the 66th minute when Chelsea's Drew Spence confidently strikes the ball into the bottom corner of the goal. Tensions were running high for Chelsea to see out the game, with it looking like Everton could equalise any minute. But in the closing minutes of extra time, Hannah Blundell secured that insurance goal and win to end the game 2-0. And finally, London Bees travelled to Leicester City. It didn't take long for the Bees to sting the Foxes when a free kick by Johnson lands in the box for Wilkinson to poke the ball into the net in just 8 minutes. The Bees grabbed their second of the game when a cheeky flick on by Wilkinson fell to Littlejohn to finish the game early in the second half at 2-0. And that's all the FA Cup fourth round updates we've got for you. We will resume with WSL Roundup next week, but with a look at the postponed fourth round matches too. And that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for watching. If you did like Herbie's video, then give us a like and subscribe. We'll be coming to you every week, so if you want to be in the know, subscribe to know. This episode is dedicated to Ruby Grant scoring a hat-trick for the first team at just 16 years old. Keep it up, Ruby. Thank you for watching and see you next time.